It is October 13th, 2023, the season premiere of SmackDown.
You're ready to go. I love it.
Yeah, we're partying, man. It's good. Now, full disclosure, Issa's not here tonight. Roman Reigns has returned, which means Issa is she's disappeared. She's just probably sitting at home, DVRing SmackDown. Start going right back to the beginning and watching all.
Probably a national holiday, you know what I'm saying? Just
yeah,
the whole thing off, just to see how he can acknowledge her tribal chief.
Yeah, she acknowledges, she observes his return. It's a glorious day. Full disclosure, so Flobo actually wasn't able to catch SmackDown tonight. He's traveling, but here's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to talk about the latest in news, and we're going to talk about the developments of what happened on SmackDown, and kind of talk where WWE is at with SmackDown in particular with the season premiere. Flobo, what do you think of this concept that they started doing a few years ago when they started saying like, oh, it's the season premiere. It's the fall season. Yes.
Since I was a SmackDown kid and I didn't have cable, this is like kind of like what I would look for. Even back in the UPN days, it was like, now it's time for the season premiere of SmackDown. So, The Rock was going to have a match. It was going to be a big deal. And I tell people the biggest season premiere of all time was when Kofi took on Brock. And I was in the stands when that happened, unfortunately. So, you know what? Give me something special to tune in for. I mean, WWE does that. SmackDown Extreme, all the NXT branded stuff. I know it's all a gimmick, but put me on.
But what I want is a season finale. I want SmackDown with the cliffhanger ending, and like Sikoa wakes up and goes to the bathroom, and he's in there, and like there's Jay, and it was all a dream.
No, that's saying elsewhere. That's literally the ending of said elsewhere.
It all took place in a snow globe. That's what I want. I want a big mind-bending season finale of SmackDown. But no, this we'll talk about what happened tonight. We got a new GM on SmackDown. Roman Reigns is back. John Cena's time is limited, given that maybe SAG-AFTRA is going to work things out sooner rather than later. Maybe not sooner, given some of the recent developments there. But an LA Knight is getting his shot. We'll talk about that. But first, in the news, Randy Orton seen around the Performance Center. Are you excited about Randy possibly returning at Survivor Series?
It's one of those things where I'll be the first one to admit I was never the biggest Randy Orton fan. I mean, not in a bad way. I wasn't a hater. It was kind of like, okay, he does his thing. He's kind of boring. Randy Borton, as you used to call him. But like when his last injury hit, you're like, oh man, this is like one of the stalwarts of the Roots and Aggression era. You know what I mean? To have him just one more time. We gave Edge a year flower tour. Why not give the same to Randy Orton? So I'm kind of hyped the fact that was reported this week.
Yeah, I think it'll be good to see Randy back. I think he had, when he came back in 2016, a lot of people were just kind of like, I don't know. But he's had some really interesting runs since then. He had his feud with Bray Wyatt. He had his pairing with Matt Riddle. He had some very good singles matches. I think that this is probably, I'm just speculating based on his age. So this might be his last run in WWE. But I think if he goes out with a bang, that could be incredible.
You know what? I think he's playing with house money, right? If he never wrestles again, first ballot Hall of Famer. But I think that last injury made people realize, like, oh man, we really like him. Now, granted, it was with the Riddle, and Riddle's no longer around, so it may not be a tag team run. But Randy Orton was really like the bash of consistency. He was a perfect foil for John Cena. He was the people that Attitude Era guys latched onto when they were like, oh, Cena, he's too for the kids. I like Orton. You know what I mean? And the fact that you have a chance to do a victory lap, why the heck not?
Yeah. No, I think that could be cool. Other big story in wrestling is someone, for the love of God, take away Tony Khan's access to Twitter.
What do you mean there, Glenn? It's high quality stuff.
Oh my God. I mean, this is insane. This is if your boss at a company was tweeting like this, wouldn't it be funny if he had like 5 followers and they were all people that work there? That would be one thing. That'd be one thing. I'd be like, okay, he's a crazy old man, but he signs the checks, and we're just gonna roll with this. But Tony Khan, like, his engagements in the hundreds of thousands,
right?
And he's taken shots at everyone that's taken shots at him, taking shots at Vince McMahon. Not that Vince McMahon doesn't perhaps deserve, and it's not inaccurate. Some of the things Tony Khan has said, but this thing today. he starts with this very wholesome tweet about the 1-year anniversary of his mom being in the hospital and making it through ordeals. But then, and when I was there, people were calling me and talking about WWE with the contract tampering. And it's just like, dude, like, is this all that's on your mind right now?
So it's kind of a hard sell because I'm with you, Glenn. I mean, like, look, you have this company and you know it's good. If you believe your product is good, you can focus on your product and improve it every week and everyone will come around. But you really made this brand on the fact that you're not WWE.
Yeah.
So you have to report and say, hey, look, we're head to head. Hey, look, they had to throw Undertaker at us. And hey, look, there was what was the tweet? The first time.
It was the first time they were on WWE programming that did less than 1 million viewers.
Look, I think it's desperate. I think it's cringe, but you pretty much made yourself that persona online. You might as well go for it there because you can tell once you said that, there were thousands of comments who were like, oh, you're right, Tony. You're dang right, Tony.
And I was just like, I'm sure those episodes of A&E Treasures didn't all do, plus 1 million views.
That's deep cut. Don't watch that show.
Come on. Wasn't there like a FS1 week or something maybe where it was under 1 million? I don't know.
So I was going to listen to Jack because we talk offline all the time.
Yeah.
There was a time where Rampage and SmackDown was on FS1 and SmackDown had the 30-minute overrun. And even though it outdrew the number of viewers on Rampage won the demographic. And Tony Khan did victory laps. So you got to be able to say, hey, look, man, we got wins when we can. I personally don't dig it because who cares about ratings? But if that's his brand, that's his brand.
It's just, folks, they say money can't buy you happiness. And if you ever thought that was just lip service, look at Tony Khan's life and how much time he spends on Twitter. Yeah. He could be doing anything with his time. He could be managing the Jaguars or focusing on how to make the AEW shows even better than they are and expand the fan base.
Fulham FC.
Yeah, but like he's not just jotting off those tweets. He's sitting there writing it and then he's showing it to someone. He's like, "What do you think about this?" And he's like, "Oh no, maybe I should word it this way. Maybe I should." Like, it seems like he's putting thought into these.
I will say this though, I would feel like that's been Tony's MO from night one, and to his credit, it worked out for him. But this time, this whole NXT AEW thing, I guess my algorithm must be kind of skewed. There are more people like, hey Tony, okay, you need to put the phone down, or hey Tony, that's great, but what are you doing? And maybe that may be the beginning of the end.
That's just interesting. Christopher Steichleather is saying, how about this? Edge's last SmackDown did 2.4 million, and Adam Copeland's first AEW appearance did less than 900,000.
Two different guys.
That's true. Both rated R, though.
Yeah, they are both rated R. What's up with
both
that?
Rated R, yeah. Also, is that edgy anymore? Shouldn't it be like NC-17?
I never got that. He's rated R because Matt Hardy complained about Lita. Is that why he's rated R?
I thought that was the genesis of it.
Because the live sex celebration on Raw, I can't believe I'm citing this. This is like 20 years ago. Was like under the cover, so it's not even
quite PG,
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't know. I mean, I think rivalry is fun. It gives us something to talk about. It's good, but I don't know, man. Like if nobody talked about back in the 90s. I know Eric Bischoff would take shots, and there was a rivalry, but it was also more engaged then. I think WWE learned from that in the 90s, like just don't engage. Rise above, as Black Flag saying. Just don't get into it because WWE's clearly winning.
Yeah.
Like, why give them the attention?
That takes me back to my college days, playing Black Flag on the radio.
Rise above still slaps, man. It's good.
Okay. I was an Offspring guy, but okay.
Yeah, no, not a lot of Black Flag you listen to and you're like, I get at the time why this is good, but give me Rise Above, TV Party. There's a few songs, but other than that, I'm like, I can't. It's like I went and saw the Ramones live on their farewell tour, and I had to leave after an hour. I had to leave after an hour because I was like, this is too much.
That was an expensive ticket, though. That was
no, and the Ramones on their farewell tour, that was like it was like $25, dude. It was 1996, 1997.
Okay.
Yeah. But the Ramones, everything 1, 2, 3, 4, and then like after an hour, I was like, I need to go. Like I cannot take more of this. It's too relentless.
I feel bad. I'm a Crazy Taxi player, and I want to see Bad Religion live, but it's too late now. But I was wanting to see
Bad Religion still tour? Don't they
They
still?
kind of no, because the lead singer is like a politician now, I think.
Greg Gaffin, I know he has a PhD, similar to Dexter from The Offspring, who also makes hot sauce. What's it called? Gringo Bandito. He has good hot sauce. You can find them most supermarkets. Dexter from The Offspring. Yeah, they're pretty tight. Anyhow, I could talk about this all night, but we should talk a little bit about SmackDown. SmackDown opened by John Cena coming out, giving his gratitude, giving his rousing speech. It's weird how at some point in the last 10 years he just sort of became Captain America, if that was a person.
You know what? I'm with you. I think he was that for a while, but I think all the haters either aged out or just gave up. Like, he's not going anywhere. Fine, whatever. I can't see you.
Yeah.
The memes are on point.
That was so amazing Tuesday when the crowd was actually singing his actual song.
Oh, yeah. And he was surprised too. He was like, oh, you used to say that I sucked.
Yeah.
What the hell happened,
Yeah, you could tell there was an extra pep in his step. Tuesday was a lot of fun. I watched NXT. That was a very fun show. Actually, it was funny. Yeah, I made sure I was home even when I wasn't doing the podcast. I'm still watching NXT because it was such an epic moment. But John Cena came out fired up tonight and interrupted by the Bloodline with Roman Reigns. The Tribal Chief has returned.
Can we talk about this?
Yeah, let's talk.
This guy is what's the official word? The WWE Undisputed Heavyweight Champion, or is that WWE
Undisputed Universal Champion?
Universal Champion. What first Friday in 5 weeks we've seen this guy?
Yeah,
and he still gives. I don't know. I'm a certain age, Glenn, where you had 30 days to defend that title, or else you had to give it up. And this guy just shows up, waltz in when he feels like it. Everyone's all acknowledging him. Don't tell Issa, please don't tell Issa. I'm over it. He needs a fight, dang it.
No, I was gonna say I'm of a certain age where 5 weeks. I don't know if I'm gonna make it till his next appearance.
Right.
It seems like a lifetime. Yeah, God. My hair was not silver before.
Jealous.
But no, I think it was good to see him tonight. He came out, confronted John in the ring, and just saying, "Oh, you should acknowledge me." And John was like, "No, I do acknowledge you. I think it's great. I'm not here to challenge you. I'm not here to dispute you." But he pivoted it to saying, I haven't earned a shot at you, but I think someone else has, and brought out LA Knight, which was electric to see LA Knight going toe to toe on the mic with Roman Reigns. There's a great shot circulating online where you can see them face to face. You see the reflection of Roman in LA Knight's glasses.
So this works on two different levels, right? LA Knight is one of the last organic over guys we've seen in a long time. And why not give it to him? Because frankly, I don't think LA is going to win, but feed him to Roman Reigns. Yeah. Put him on that main event status for a long time. And two, it's kind of a reward for us long-term booking guys, because I was at SummerSlam 2021, the Summer of Cena, they called it. Cena challenged Roman Reigns and lost. So if Cena was like, yeah, man, I'm challenging you, I'd be like, I saw you. You suck. Yeah. Give me somebody who's hot right now. And I was telling this to my friend. I was like, okay, we're at the point now, Roman Reigns has been champion for so long that anyone that beats him will not be electric. Maybe Cody, whatever, but LA Knight's the closest one who's fresh enough to go, holy crap, he has a chance.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot like the Sami Zayn challenge. Well, I think the crowd's going to be super into it. Every false finish they're going to pop for when it seems like LA Knight has a shot, and then something's going to happen that's going to screw it up. But I think that, this is good because in a way, this is them acknowledging LA Knight, his massive organic rise, especially over the last 6 months. And you should watch this promo tonight. I wasn't at first. Now I am, but I kind of sometimes, I think at first I was like, this just feels a little
Eli Drakey.
Well, yes. But it felt just a little, I guess it makes sense though, right? It's kind of like, do you ever see when a band comes out, like a good example recently, that band out of Italy, Måneskin, where you're like, this is good, but this is very much designed to tap into a nostalgia for something 20 or 30 years ago.
Like Airborne is the AC/DC. I got you. Yeah.
So it was kind of like with LA Knight, I was like, I get what he's doing, but this feels very, he didn't come out wearing Zubas and like wraparound Oakleys, but it's like, this is very much meant to tap in. At first it felt to tap into that 90s Attitude Era, Stone Cold Rock hybrid catchphrase machine. But I think
kids know who Zubas are? They didn't even know what Zubas is. Is that like a thing that
I felt like Mojo Rawley brought those back pretty substantially. I ordered
anything back.
I ordered like 3 pairs of Zubas. I got Zuba ties. I ordered all that shit after Mojo put that back on my radar because I didn't know they still made them. I didn't know they still made them. I was like, I remember these, but Mojo's telling me these are still a thing, and they're super comfortable pants.
Fair enough.
I mean, everything breathes in those, Flobo. Everything.
Don't say it creepy like that.
Yeah.
Everything.
But no, I think at first I wasn't huge on LA Knight, but I get it. I think he's become his own thing. I think that he's fun. I think the promo that he did last week was better when he did the, receipt, I'm not buying it thing. That was good. He didn't, I think, land as many punchlines tonight, but I think that he came out there, but he stood toe to toe with Roman Reigns on the mic. And the crowd, by the way, cheering LA Knight, booing Roman this entire time.
It sucks because Roman is another thing about being excellent, and I think WWE, for all of the criticism, has done the right thing, and not keeping Roman every week, not making him the show anymore, try to build up other stars in Roman's wake, quite literally with Jay and Jimmy and all that. But I think we're tired. I think, not to say it's over, not to say I'm off the bus, but without any other like permutations or sidebars or side characters, we're kind of going like, what's next for the blind? Are we just going to ride this bus to WrestleMania? Is something happening before? This is why I think LA Knight's a perfect person to put with them for now. But you're right. I think there's a situation where it's like, Roman, you have to do something, either evil, nefarious, maybe something cool to make us cheer, for us to feel you, because the last thing I could think about was Mania, and that was 6 months ago.
Yeah. I think that, when's Crown Jewel coming up?
Like mid-November?
Is it that soon?
Yeah.
November 5th, 2022.
Oh, that's it.
Oh, no, it was last year. Sorry. No, that was last year. Sorry. That was last year. It was like 2022. No, I'm going to look at this.
Right.
Here we go. Crown Jewel is November 4th. Okay. I was off by
earlier.
So we got a few weeks between that. I still think, and some people have told me I was crazy for this on Twitter, I still think it's got to be Bloodline versus Judgment Day in a War Games match for Survivor Series.
Is War Games coming back? I know last year was already in the branding by now, but I haven't seen anything that says Ozzy Osbourne saying War Games is coming back or anything like that. But if it is, that makes the most sense because Judgment Day with the Alliance, you can have that fray a bit. I'm not sure what people should be rooting for in that situation, but that makes the most logical sense. That's to be the case.
Yeah, so I could see LA Knight versus Roman at Crown Jewel happening. Although, is that big enough for Crown Jewel?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I mean, if Logan Paul got a title match, I remember Ricochet got a title match against Brock Lesnar. I think along the titles on the line, you really can't get mad if you're in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. So this was a good confrontation. Jimmy blindsided LA Knight, and LA Knight sort of no-sold it, jumped Jimmy out of the ring, stared down Reigns, and this set up a match between LA Knight and Solo Sikoa for the main event tonight. Pretty Deadly is back. Elton Strong. They came to the ring and they defeated the Brawling Brutes in a fun match. And it's great that Pretty Deadly is still, they never lost their push. Although with the tag titles consolidated, I don't know what the trajectory for a tag team really is these days.
I really hope they keep them around as like a joke group, just kind of the humor side, like almost what Alpha Academy was on Raw. So I was talking to Jack. We have an NXT show on the NXT podcast, and I said, how cool would it be if the Brawling Brutes were in NXT full time? I think they could run roughshod there. But as long as you have Brawling Brutes, and James is kind of like in the background, kind of not there right now with his injuries or whatever, they're going to be fodder for a lot of people, much like how the Viking Raiders were for a long time before Eric's injury. So to answer your question, I love Pretty Deadly. It's fun. It seems very Friday night, has a disco vibe. Keep them around. They won't be champions for a long time, but that's definitely something that could eat up 8:35 to 8:45 for your show card.
No, it was fun tonight. So Pretty Deadly won that match. Then Bobby Lashley was talking to Carlito and Flobo. Carlito had the apple in his hand. He was going to start eating an apple.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I spit in the face. He was like, ooh.
He wanted his first match back to be against Bobby Lashley, but then he was attacked by the Street Profits, and Adam Pearce intervened before he could hit him with it.
I like Carlito, man. Is he going to be here long term, you think?
He's been signed for a couple months before they brought him back.
I want years, baby. I want years.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. So weird. It's got to be weird when we'll talk about the new GM, Carlito. They just did all these releases, but it's like Authors of Pain are back under contract now for a few months. It's comings and goings, man. This is professional wrestling.
Papa H is on full effect, man. Even people you think that should have been released, I'm not seeing you. They are kind of hanging around if they're Papa H guys.
Yeah. Bailey took on Zelina Vega, and Bailey beat Zelina Vega pretty easily. Yeah, I mean, what's to say about this? Damage Control was beating up Zelina Vega after Charlotte Flair came down and made the save. But remember when Zelina, I mean, in Puerto Rico, getting that massive entrance, it seemed like they were giving her quite a push for a while. That she was prominent, and now she's just kind of getting defeated by Bailey pretty easily.
So here's a problem with that, man. You had Zelina Vega and you have LWO, which is supposed to be some like giant, formidable Latin team, which sounds good on paper. Hasn't happened, right?
Yeah.
Totally like
selling merch.
Who listen to this week? They're selling merch, but it's kind of like really a nostalgia play. We love the original LWO. Even though the original LWO didn't win a lot of matches either, at least it was kind of like 30 years ago. You had Bailey, and on this show, I said, you can't have Bailey lose every week. I understand Dakota's injured. I understand Io's the champ, but you have Bailey lose all the time. She's the original horsewoman. So what? You solve one problem by exacerbating another problem. So now Zelina Vega is just getting folded up left and right, and Bailey doesn't seem any stronger because she beat Zelina Vega. What is happening right now?
I know. Well, Adam Pearce was in the ring with Triple H, who came out to make an announcement, said he missed doing the entrance, missed getting that reaction, and gave Adam Pearce Raw general manager duty, announced he was going to announce a new SmackDown general manager. But before he could, Dominic Mysterio came out to criticize Adam Pearce for how Judgment Day has been treated. And the fact that there was going to be that Cody and Jay were giving someone else a tag opportunity tonight, except for Judgment Day. And Dominic Mysterio, I mean, man, he got more booze than Roman did. It's amazing. His kid's reaction. Triple H was talking about it, and he was like, "Oh, I don't think that mic's working. Try this one." And he was like, "Nope, same problem," because he was drowned out. But then he introduced Nick Aldis, the new GM of SmackDown.
Let's be real about this. Now, for a while, I was complaining about the lack of a GM or inconsistent GMs across all brands because Adam Pearce isn't really a GM until today, right? He was an official. And you're like, well, who are you working for? But Nick Aldis is kind of like one of those inadvertent free agents I've seen in wrestling. During the pandemic, you thought he'd be NWA for life. He was holding 10 pounds of gold, and then something happened. He fell out. I thought Impact. I thought AEW.
Yeah.
Master stroke from Stanford, but I wonder what Nick Aldis is going to do to shake up SmackDown and how he's going to endear himself to a brand new audience.
Well, it was nice to see him have a little bit of a friendly face-off with Adam Pearce because we're in Survivor Series season. So this is going to set up like a real rivalry this year, hopefully. Interesting, there are rumors that Nick Aldis' wife, Mickie James, might be coming back to WWE for one more run.
If I'm Mickie James, I don't see why not. I love the last rodeo storyline. It's kind of weird / tragic that her injury kind of like not cut it short, but like gave it a whimper of an ending. So I would love to have Mickie James just do one more, because if to be honest with you, her biggest stage was WrestleMania against Trish, one of the best women's storylines of all time. If we don't get that, if it's just rumor, if it's just conjecture, Glenn, that's fine too.
Now, do we get a TV moment or an Instagram post where she's unpacking her gear backstage out of a trash bag?
It has to be social. No one will get that. Nobody will get that. She's like, why is she homeless? No one will get that on SmackDown for sure.
Yeah, but on Instagram, that'll massive, like that'll get shared to Reddit. That'll go massively viral.
Yeah, that'll pop the crap.
Absolutely. Well,
homeless Mickey. That's shameless Mickey.
Well, given that Jay left SmackDown to go to Raw, we finally learned who the trade was for. The newest member of the SmackDown roster, Kevin Owens, came out.
Interesting.
Stunner to Dominic Mysterio. Kevin, blue duct tape on the shirt tonight, spelling KO.
Yeah, I like it. For me, I kind of forgot about the trade because it had been like 2 months or something like that. But I'm not sure what that means for the tag team champions, but I'm good. I'm glad. I am not the biggest Sami Zayn fan. I don't mean that from a place of hate or anything, but I like Kevin Owens as a single competitor. I know that was a fake tweet that was going around about Kevin Owens appearing on NXT. I shared it in an instant because I remember when Kevin Owens struck fear in the hearts of our roster. So if you get them separated, to do that again, or at least if you can't do that, be the Ezekiel hating Deadpool meta Kevin Owens, that's fine too.
As long as he's not hiding in a porta potty. Anyway.
Ugh, please don't.
But what does this mean for Sami Zayn?
I don't know. He'll be fine. People like Sami Zayn, man, and he's good on comic timing. He was a manager. He was a single guy. He fought Bobby Lashley when Bobby Lashley had sisters. He'll be fine. But the thing is, I think of the two of them, Kevin Owens was the guy that I was worried about the most because he's very good at being a player and dealing with the people he's bouncing off of. He might just fit into the background. So now it's really his time. But as far as Sami Zayn's concerned, I ain't worried.
Well, Charlotte Flair is getting a rematch against Io Sky for the championship next week on SmackDown. But more importantly, she ran into Jade Cargill backstage.
Just everywhere. Was she supposed to be in Orlando, Jade? What's going on?
I don't know, but they had a face-off. I like what they're doing with Jade, how they're having her be a presence on all this WWE programming, letting the audience know that she's like a massive deal.
I think Jade versus Cargill prints money, and it's one of the few things where you don't need a storyline. Like if you can say Becky Lynch being the man and I'm the man, if it's Mercedes, you can say about who held down the company longer. But Charlotte and her last name and Jade and her abs can sell a pay-per-view with no context whatsoever.
Yeah, no, I look forward to that. I think it'll be really, really good when it finally does happen. Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso defended their tag team championships against Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. They retained. This match was fine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of A-Town Down. I'm a big fan of Grayson Waller. Not sure why they're together, but I know I'm in the minority when I say that because Grayson Waller is just a bit too charismatic on the character side to take A-Town Austin Theory's lunch. But hey, look, man, you got to give themselves an easy title defense if you're Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. Wait to see when that's going to blow up. Not sure when it's going to blow up, but the longer that Austin Theory and Grayson Waller are tagging together, the more I worry about Austin Theory's prospects long term.
No, I agree with that. But this match really was the build to give us the crossing of paths of Cody and Jay and Solo and Jimmy, and then Roman and Paul Heyman coming out, and we had Reigns and Cody with a face-to-face stare down.
Let me ask you a question, Glenn.
Yeah.
Is Cody going to be the next champion? Is he going to finish the story? Is he the next guy to win the championship?
It would be kind of funny if he didn't, but I feel like he has to.
I don't know, man.
I thought that this year, though. We thought that at Mania this year.
I did not. No. That's not going to happen this year. It's not at all. WWE likes making their own lore. So I knew going in he's going to lose. Even if you ever watch NXT, like someone challenges, they get beat, and they get a rematch and they win. That was going to happen. The question I have is it that championship? Is it winning Seth's championship and challenging Roman after that? That's a question I have with Cody.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny that we're not going to have a brand champ versus brand champ Survivor Series match if it does go Judgment Day versus Bloodline.
I'm with you.
But that's bigger. I mean, that's huge. That's the two biggest factions in WWE facing off against one another.
Yeah.
So
you hear that, Bailey? No damage control. What are you saying?
I like damage control, but yeah, I mean, that's a whole other discussion. But the main event tonight was LA Knight versus Solo Sikoa, and despite Jimmy Uso trying to attack Knight, John Cena got in the ring and prevented that. LA Knight won tonight over Solo Sikoa in the main event. Hell of a match, went on for a bit, and LA Knight looked great, but reminding you who the tribal chief is, Roman Reigns speared LA Knight out of nowhere, holding up the one symbol as the show went off the air. So yeah, I'm very worried for LA Knight fans that are going to allow themselves to believe Mr. Knight has a shot at this. I think he'll get a good match out of Roman, but it's going to be more heartbreaking the more they build this legitimately and increases momentum, only to have it be stopped by Roman.
I'm with you. There's some people that would say you go get the champ and lose, you're now in the conversation. Yeah. But let's just pretend. Like, let's just say it's like a Kofi Mania moment, right? Let's say LA Knight gets the match against Roman Reigns, wins it. He has a golden belt. Yeah, has a golden belt. I got a feeling that wrestling fans are going to give him like 6 weeks before they turn on him and be like, he's boring. I don't like him anymore. He's so rocket stone cold. And that's what I worry about these organic swells of face turns or being put over.
I think as long as he keeps giving people new stuff, the biggest problem with WWE is they don't. I mean, sometimes they just run everything into the ground. It's like SNL. It's like, hey, last week we did It's Pat. What if this week we do It's Pat again?
Deep. I like it.
Everyone loves Rob Schneider and the copy machine guy. What if we have him saying the host name in a fun way? Because they're making copies.
Right.
Yeah, I think that it's just so easy. I love anyone that's a Gen Z is just like, what the hell are you talking about? It's like millennials. It's like they did Debbie Downer and just ran it into the ground. Gen Z, I don't have a current point of reference because I don't really watch SNL anymore.
Well, Mad TV did that all the time. Remember the Swan Lady?
Which is why Key and Peele was amazing. Yeah. How Key and Peele like had so few recurring things.
Yeah. Aaron.
Yes. I mean, yeah, but all sketch comedy is guilty of it. Kids in the Hall would do it. The State would do it. Everybody. I think even Mr. Show. Well, the Mr. Show probably a little less. Mr. Show and Key and Peele are like the two that kept it pretty fresh all the time. But I think with these characters, that's the problem. It becomes the same thing. It's like, no, people want the catchphrase. People know this. Whose game is it? Fact of life. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got to change it up. He's got to do different things. And I think that as long as he does that, the audience will be entertained. The question is, see, with Sami Zayn, and this is interesting. Some people go like, you're comparing LA Knight and Sami Zayn. Why, yes, I am. But with Sami Zayn, it was really interesting because he had catchphrases, but people were on board for his emotional journey. And I think that LA Knight, behind the scenes and in real life, has had a very emotional, interesting journey to be at the stage of his career and getting this opportunity. How do they keep him being like Fonzie? How do they keep him being the super cool guy while also humanizing him enough to get people emotionally invested to the point where they're just like so wanting him to win, not just for the character, but for the person?
You're going to hate this because I liked LA Knight when he was the antagonist egging on Cameron Grimes in NXT with Ted DiBiase in the championship and the $1 million championship. But it really rubbed me the wrong way when he was in a battle with Miz. And Miz beat him on the mic, not so much on presence and bravado, but rather like, why are you arguing? And he's like, but we started to do the Hard Times promo, but you're the Mega Million star. So it's like, it's a weird dissonance. So there are some things you need to work on. Some of the bright lights get to him. But at the same time, as someone who's worked with Sean Ricker personally, I know he can do better. I'm not sure what that lane's going to be. Just don't go back to being Max Dupree. It'll be fine.
Is it titillating the forbidden desires?
Yeah.
Titillating the juices of your forbidden.
Tiddling the juices
of your forbidden desires. This is like a really wacky company when you think about shit like that. Also, the fact that Maxine Dupree is still signed, but Maximum Male Models aren't.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, Max was getting over. That's the thing that trips me out. That Max Dupree was getting over. It wasn't as fun as LA Knight for sure, but it was actually working.
No, I think tonight was a good season opener. But that's like the big story. I think the GM is good. Look, WWE programming is always better when you have a strong GM that's a character.
Right.
It can allow for so many more possibilities. Adam Pearce was he was an official. Since Sonya Deville left, he seemed like he was just literally there as a placeholder when they needed someone to be the man. Fair. Not the Becky Lynch man, but the man.
Oh.
He was, but he didn't feel strong in that. It's like, I think you need somebody that can abuse their power or somebody that can get into it with a superstar. It just makes it more interesting.
Does that mean NXT gets one soon, or you don't think so?
I like NXT better with one, although NXT is such a variety show.
Okay.
I mean, I think it is. Like, because we have serious competitions. You have stuff like Gallus and you have stuff like Tony D'Angelo. I mean, it's like, it's super weird. It's super quirky.
Right? We need someone to run the asylum.
Yes. And who knows? Who knows who that person could be?
Glenn.
Yes. Oh, I would love to be the manager of NXT. But what it would be, though, is it's just like every time someone came to see me, it'd be like, I like the cut of your jib. You got Moxie, kid.
You went to a time machine to the 20s? Like, what the hell just happened? I was doing a match, Glenn. What's going on?
Yeah, I don't agree with you. I think it's a terrible idea. But you got Moxie, kid.
You're the bee's knees.
I'm going to give you that shot. Now get out of here. Skiddly doo. I think that'd be amazing. I like to think HBK is like that. It's weird how they have HBK as the GM, but HBK, you rarely see him talking to people.
Yeah, you never see him. It's like, is he even in the building? You know?
Well, we saw that office. I mean, there's nothing really to write home about.
Not even a window, poor guy. That guy was a heartbreak kid, man. Give him a window.
Yeah,
Leave some air hole somewhere, please.
That's the real heartbreak, is him sitting in a closet.
I know. A corporate office, a cubicle is a real heartbreak.
Yeah, with his readers on, trying to figure out how to work a computer, you know? Cool, everybody. Well, that was SmackDown. Flobo, thanks for hopping on. I know you're traveling.
Yeah,
next week I'll be back on Tuesday. Talk about NXT, the fallout from the biggest NXT of all time.
Yeah, you're the GM too, so it'd be great.
Yeah, it'd be great. I'll be doing it from backstage. I'll have a corner of Sean's office. Let's be
Get my man a window,
please. Sitting on a mop bucket turned upside down.
Get your nice view of the parking lot.
Sitting there like on my iPad. It'll be great. So everybody have a great weekend. We'll catch you back here next time. Follow Flobo at Flobo Boyce. I'm at Glenn Rubenstien. This weekend on Gigantic Pop. Last weekend, Matt Morgan fell asleep. So Raj and I had to go solo and it went off the rails.
Nice.
You should check it out. We told some stories. But this weekend, talking Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Sunday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Check it out. Gigantic Pop on YouTube. Flobo, thank you so much. Always enjoy doing this with you. And I'll see you back here next time on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.
Guys.